Page 19. I would just like to say at this point that from personal experience, I know none of this feels like it's just anxiety. So I know the symptoms that I've mentioned in all the workbooks and are mentioned in all the scientific journals, and if you go to a therapist, they really don't adequately describe the actual experience itself. What someone who hasn't experienced a panic attack can't possibly imagine is that feeling that comes with a panic attack. You know, that sense of utter dread, that otherness, something strange. It's not just about symptoms. It's not just fear. It's something else. It's something beyond that you just can't put your finger on, you can't describe. It's confusion, unreality, terror. But it really is because we can't match that feeling up with anything in the external world. We completely internalize it. We just think it's something to do with us. So apart from physical symptoms and sensations, we get this additional fear of overwhelming dread, and it seems to go beyond even the fear of dying, collapsing, whatever. It's just this horrible, horrible feeling. You just think, I'm not going to be able to bear this. I don't want to feel this again. It's so awful. I understand that feeling. I know what it's like. I really do. And it will pass. It does pass. It is just fight or flight. Please just trust me on that. It really is, no matter how bad it feels. When you put this practice in, you start to understand the process, you practice recovery, you do discover that it really is just fight or flight sensations, as bad as it feels. And I know it feels like we'll be stuck with this feeling forever. I've described it there like we've fallen off a cliff, but we're never going to hit the ground. It's that horrible feeling as if it's going to last forever. Now I know it's hard to believe that this is just anxiety playing tricks with your mind. It's sensory exaggeration. But the understanding, the skills and the practice will bring you to the point where this won't hold any fear at all. Okay? Fears about getting better. I know this may sound strange, but this is a very common occurrence with panic disorder, and it happens for a number of reasons. So a person with panic disorder finds it hard to imagine what getting better will actually feel like. You maybe have experienced anxiety for so long, really all you can think about is that you're scared of going everywhere, work, shopping, gatherings. You're just afraid to go out the front door. You're always thinking ahead. If I have to do that, it's going to make me anxious. I may have panic. You've got so used to that it's hard to imagine what feeling better actually will be like. So when you think about being better, all you think about is the idea that you have to take on more responsibilities. You'll be going back to work, you'll be going back into shops, you'll be seeing more people, you'll be doing more things, you'll be going outside. And from the point of view of how you feel in the moment, feeling terrified of everything, then that makes you feel anxious. So the idea of getting better actually causes a lot of anticipatory anxiety. Oh gosh, when I feel better I'll have to do all those things. But you forget that when you feel better, you won't be anxious about all those things, because that's what being better is all about. You won't feel anxiety, you won't be getting panic attacks, you'll feel okay in all those situations. So just try and remember that, keep that in mind. Another thing is the strange feeling that you want to panic. This happens during recovery process. People report concern over the feeling that they actually want to have a panic attack. A strange feeling, that you want to panic. The less panic that you've been feeling, you're getting this strange sensation that you want to panic. Again, this is a common occurrence, and it simply happens because the absence of regular panic attacks causes a certain degree of anticipatory anxiety. Because you're thinking, I haven't had a panic attack in so long, I'm bound to have one soon. I'm bound to, because I've been having them for so many times. Now I haven't. I'm bound to have one soon. So that feeling, again, anticipatory anxiety building, and you're thinking, you don't want it to happen. And then you get to the point where you just think, I think I'd just rather have a panic attack and get it over with, rather than have to wait for it to happen. Sometimes thinking about panic happening is worse than it actually happening. So that's how we get into that strange feeling that we want to panic. So we don't realise that's happening, and then we question our sanity because we think, why on earth would I want to panic? That's a strange feeling. So this feeling does gradually die down as we have fewer and fewer attacks, and we start to get used to longer and longer periods without panic. Trust me on that one. I know this experience very well. I remember going through it, and I remember that it passes. Okay. Page 22. Are you really accepting the feelings? This is very important. Accepting fight or flight sensations at their most terrifying is the hardest part of practice. So even after we completely understand that panic attacks can't cause us any actual harm, it's still very difficult to really accept those feelings, because naturally they're so frightening. We just want to not accept them. We think if we accept them, then we're allowing something in that's going to harm us in some way, so it doesn't feel natural to accept them. So, and it seems illogical to accept what seems totally unacceptable. But this is what your practice is all about. It's about reversing that, okay? Once you really learn to accept the feelings as harmless fight or flight sensations, they start to hold less fear. And when you lose your fear of panic, it will stop happening. That's the key. So in order to lose your fear completely, you have to work with these feelings. Meet them halfway at least. Then you lose your fear. So if you're still kind of not completely accepting them, you're not really reinforcing the idea that they're just harmless fight or flight sensations. If you're not accepting, you're reinforcing the idea that you mistakenly believe that they mean something serious. So you have to keep working on this. So just observe every day. Do you keep checking on the symptoms to see if they're gone? So even if you're having less and less symptoms, are you checking in? Are you checking in your body to feel if there's anything there? Is it still there? Do I feel panic's coming up? Do you see the subtle resistance there? You're not saying, well, if there's some feelings there, that's fine, because now I know completely that they're just fight or flight sensations. So if it happens, it happens. You see why that's a more accepting attitude, and attitude is everything in this, because your attitude is what you send through the body. If your attitude is it's okay, it's just fight or flight, your body will start to get used to the fact that when those symptoms arise, there's no need for more fight or flight response sensations and symptoms. Okay, because you're not afraid of them anymore. So do you find yourself being overly careful not to trigger panic? If you're very careful with yourself, you don't exercise, you don't do certain things, you don't listen to certain TV programs, even while you're practicing and you're understanding all this, can you see that that's, again, reinforcing the mistaken belief that something's seriously wrong with those feelings? They mean something more serious. So keep on observing. Are you accepting more and more, or are you still resisting? All right, and if you are, that's okay. Just observe it, work with it, and try to move on.